What's up, everybody? So today is another exciting news. Today, or hopefully it's gonna be exciting news. So if you guys seen on last episode, we had some big headache happen on our 350Z car. So today we're gonna take everything apart on the front and hopefully we're gonna find what's wrong with it. And fix the problem so we can put the engine in the car, and then hopefully in 2024 Mike is get to go drifting with the car. So
I thought he was gonna say 2025.
It's 2024.
Alright, so if you watched the last video, I'm sure you guys know that this entire thing is taken apart. This is just on there, it's loose, everything's loose, the valve cover's loose, the bolts aren't even in there. So what I'm gonna be doing is we're gonna just be putting this back on the actual engine stand, taking this off again, taking off the accessories on the front here, and then taking off all the bolts and taking off the front cover. Then getting to the timing chain to take the timing chain off, and then take off the cams. It's crazy, but I think that it's hitting a valve right now. When we rotate it, that's probably why it's like stopping really hard when it's going 90 degrees. So you know that the timing is good technically when the motor spins twice, like, you know, in a 360 degrees. So what we're gonna do is take everything off, take the cams off, you know, the timing chain off. And the reason we're gonna do that is because when the actual camshaft is off, the valves are gonna return to compression. And when they're in compression, the valves are all the way up seated on the actual block up here. So what that does is that lets the actual crankshaft move freely in all the cylinders because everything is in compression. So we can move anything however we want and it won't get stuck on any of the valves. So if that does not turn, then we have a big issue. But first comes first, we're gonna put this on the engine stand, take everything off, take all the accessories off, and we'll just be using this plate over here as kind of like a place where these bolts go, because these vary in sizes. So if you do manage to take your front timing cover off, make sure you know, use a piece of cardboard, draw an outline, or like record it and then just put it in a piece of cardboard, or do what we do since we have an extra and then put the bolts there. So let's start doing this. Sucks, but we gotta do it. Alright boys, so we just put the engine on the engine stand. This thing is looking good. Last time we only put 3 of these on, so the engine was like kind of tilted way too much. So now we got all 4 now. We aren't taking off the upper oil pan. We're just gonna be taking off the lower oil pan right over here, so we can take off the bolts. There's like again 2 or 3 bolts that hold this front timing cover on. Those need to come out. So then afterwards we can take this front cover off. So this thing's gonna come off very slowly, probably super easy. The dowel pins are rusted here usually on these higher mileage VQs, unless you have like a brand new one. Usually it's still gonna rust out because these are steel. So just slowly go around, grab a screwdriver, flathead, make sure you have like 2, at least 2. Having 2 just helps. Just tap around, it'll slowly lift up. Don't force it, don't pry, because you'll just start ripping everything apart. So we're gonna take that out, take those 2 bolts off, cut the weld right in the middle, right over here. And after we do that, we should be good to go. And we'll pop this front cover off and see what is going on. All right guys, so this thing's ready to pop open. So the 3, I was saying there was 2 bolts or 3 bolts, but there's actually 3. So it's gonna be 1 right here, those 2 up there. Gonna take those off. This thing's ready to come out. So like I said, probably slowly. Let's pop this thing off and see what's going on behind this thing.
Little at a time, little corner at a time, you go all the way around and they will pop up. No prying, no prying.
Alright.
Just like that.
Just like that.
So did we break anything in here?
Did we break anything?
No, we didn't break, but is something broken in here? Is what we need to know.
Alright, so there's nothing wrong with this. Like there's nothing broken. Nothing's broken here. I mean, like this has a lot of slack in it. I mean, can't do anything about that. Just gonna need a new chain. So basically what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to grab this main chain and take it off. We're gonna take this chain, take that off too, take this off, take those tensioners off, and we're gonna have to loosen these cams up because we want the cams to be all the way up so they're all in compression. So when you turn this crank, you'll have free motion and you won't hit any of the valves when you turn the crank. Because if this valve down here, for example, is down and you turn this crank, your piston down here in bank, I think this is bank 2, cylinder 3, is going to crash into this valve right here. Well, both of these valves are down here, so it's going to just hit those two. So I'm going to take those, loosen them, take this chain off, loosen those. I think there's only one tensioner on the main chain for some reason. I thought there was 2, but I guess there's only 1. And that's pretty much it, I believe. Yeah, I guess it's just one. I thought there was 2 on the other side. I thought there was another one over here, but I guess not, apparently. So that's what we're gonna go do. We're gonna take that off and loosen this up and then change it probably in the future if this works. So let's get to it and take these chains off and see if this thing will turn with the cams loosened when all the valves are up. So we can't turn it, so we'll update you guys back once we take this side off and take the cams out or loosen them up, which I'm trying to loosen them up and get them above the bucket so they're not pressing them down.
So at this point of stage, we look at the thing. You think the timing is still a problem, or is it wide C, you think? Well, that's what we're trying to find out, right?
This is the only, if your rods aren't bent or you're not having a crankshaft issue, this is the way you would figure out if you have a timing issue. Because your valves are up, because there's always a spring on your valve to lift it up all the time, constantly. So when the bucket is up and there's no pressure on it and everything's up, you can move your crankshaft freely if you have the spark plugs out.
Which we do,
Which
right?
we do. So basically, if it still binds up, then there's a bigger issue and it could be a bent rod, but I'm crossing my fingers it's not, because if it is, then that's a way bigger issue than what we can deal with.
At least we're trying. That's good though.
Yeah.
We
So
still haven't given up yet. We are hoping, like, you know, maybe the guide was like snap, because that
well, at first, yeah.
yeah, that explain why. If that was broken, that would explain why this is broken. Maybe, you know, something happened, dropped or whatever.
Yeah,
and then,
but you can't, at this point, you can't really say that because the chain is off, the main chain is off. I mean, obviously the camshafts aren't turning with the crank anymore, and we're not getting any more like degrees of turnage, I guess. We're still getting that same exact 90 degrees as before. So at this point, take off the cams. I don't want to just unloosen them and then barely get any movement and say, hey, maybe there's something wrong with the crank. I want to take the cams completely out. Make sure there's absolutely no pressure on any of this, because if the cams still have pressure on it, you're still going to get one piston that's going to hit it. And then you're going to be like, why is this still hitting? So,
well, nothing to lose at this point, right? If we're gonna show this engine, you know,
there's nothing to do at this point. Apart from that,
at least you try and then you give it up, right?
yeah, I mean, engines are actually pretty simple if you think about it.
Not for me anyway, but sure.
Not for him. They're pretty simple. They all work like at perfect timing. There's like a specific interval. So if I know that these come out both of the cams and they're still resistant somehow, then there's a greater issue. And I don't think there will be a greater issue, but fingers crossed that, you know, this is fine once you take the cams out. So yeah, gonna take these caps off right over here. There's caps, so you gotta unscrew, and then there's screws on the other side that
you telling me your favorite trick, little screwdriver at a time?
little screwdriver. This one's a little bit,
no prying one?
you gotta be careful with this one though, because there's actually RTV on the side too. It's not just one area like the oil pan where you could just pry and then it all slowly comes off. It's kind of like down here on the bottom and then on the side, so it's gonna be a little harder. So
just be careful, that's all, right?
just be careful. Yeah.
Take your time.
All right, guys, back again. I don't even know if you want to call this bad luck, to be honest. What do you call this, bad luck?
Real bad.
He says real bad. All right, so we were already turning this with the actual, what's it called, the harmonic balancer.
There you go.
So
I learned something from this.
I learned something from this. So what we learned was this thing's junk. Literally, it's actually junk. We don't know what happened to it. It was turning, and all of a sudden it just stopped turning. It turned, so when we were, it was turning with us, right? Remember?
I'm pretty sure I saw
Yeah,
it
pretty
turn.
sure we saw it turn. So we don't know if it just randomly decided to lock up, or maybe there's already a bent rod to begin with, and all of a sudden it got stuck. It could have been because like we turned it once and kept turning it like left and right a little bit, but not a lot. So maybe like one of the rods were bent, and it just needs to get to that specific cycle for it to actually like, you know, kind of lock up.
Well, at this point we got nothing to lose. So.
We have nothing to lose, so I guess. Well, I mean, except for me, but I guess take everything out again. Take the upper oil pan, maybe see if we did something wrong with the upper oil pan. To be honest, I really don't think so. Like, we did a really good job on the upper oil pan. You know, did the RTV and everything, bought the right seals and everything. I don't see what could be wrong with the upper oil pan.
I mean, hopefully we did something wrong with it, but
maybe it might free up when we take off the upper oil pan. We don't know, but well, I guess we're gonna have to do it again and see what happens. And if not, then it's a crankshaft issue, and we don't know how that could happen. But I guess shit happens for some reason.
yeah, I guess so. Take it off
I wouldn't call this a reason. It just, I don't know, it just decided to happen. But we don't know if it was from the transmission banging into the crankshaft. That shouldn't really realistically happen, to be honest, because like when you put it into the actual crankshaft hole, it shouldn't really, even if you like squish like that bushing in there, it'll be fine. Yeah, you'll really jam it in, and it'll be like really messed up. But this is just like, oh, this is questionable. So we don't know if the motor was messed up to begin with, or it's something that we did. So we'll find out. We're gonna see if the bearings are okay, apparently. So see if the rods have play. I'm gonna guess maybe one of them has play, or one of them is like particularly bent by a little bit. I don't know. So I guess we're fitting it together. Unfortunate, but yeah. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. So we already eliminated another problem with the cams. So all right, guys. So I literally just wanted to go drifting. A working car. Can't get that. But, so, if you look over here, piston 2, well, it's piston 1 on bank 2 is seized. He's kind of trying to show you. I mean, we took off the buckets. I mean, the actual bottom of the rod. But if you can kind of see, this side seized. Another piston seized for some reason. So we don't know what's going on. We were told it's probably the oil pressure, but there was oil that came into it when we first took it apart, and then afterwards, I mean, it was still spinning when we put the new oil in. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Maybe the oil that was used into it, but I don't think oil pressure or anything like that would cause literally a whole thing to seize up like this. Like, you can literally put like your whole weight on like this crankshaft, and the thing won't move, which is crazy. So we took everything out, and if we come over here, they had crazy wear anyways on it. If you can see that, like, these like bearings are gone. Like, you could put your finger in there and it'll sit.
This is the worst one, but
that's like one of the worst ones. These other ones kind of similar. This one isn't as bad, more widespread. This one has a big divot right there. This one's like okay. This one's probably like one of the better ones, but you can see it's wearing down. But this one, I think this really bad one was a seized one.
So I guess we'll come back with.
So I guess we'll come back with a new engine. Literally, the other car choices I had was a Miata for like, I don't know, 3,000. I think I should have just got that at this point.
But, hey, it is what it is. We already have the car. So.
We have the car already. I mean, it's sitting here. I'm
until
just
2026.
Yeah, until 2026. But yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go back to Nissan and have them recall this for some reason and be like, hey, I got an issue going on over here. You guys can recall this for me? But yeah, I guess that's
Need a 400Z engine bad.
literally need a 400Z engine bad. I paired up with a CD09. But yeah, that's so far that's the thing with this. I mean, it sucks. I have to spend money again. This motor was $650. I mean, I don't really know how that can happen when an engine can just go from sitting and then you're putting it in and all of a sudden it just seizes up like that. So it's, I don't know if it was already like seized or something, if it was coming. It could be anything. Like it could have been bent already and then it was ready to just let go. It could have been from any of the installation stuff that we were doing, but we literally torqued everything down to spec. So
Yeah, that, and then we are pretty gentle with it.
we were pretty gentle with it. Like we didn't, you know, bash on it on purpose or anything. We weren't like breaking things on it. So kind of
We're gonna go find the engine and we'll be back.
yeah, I guess we'll find an engine and be back in 2028 with a working 350Z. This thing will be like 30 years old by then. Alright guys, we're in a disclosed location. A secret package in the back over there. So we've been waiting all week for this thing. I know the last clip you guys saw, the motor was broken and we're talking about getting a new motor. This is it, straight from the motherland. Straight from Japan. Low miles, 45 to 60K on it. This is the motor that's hopefully good. It's gonna go on the VQ. I mean, in the 350Z. So let's open this thing up and see what it looks like. Alright, let's open this thing up. Okay, this thing looks clean. All the way down. Damn. Oh my god. That's not good, but whatever. That's not on the, that's the stock intake, right?
Yeah, that's the stock intake.
Stock intake, yeah. Wow, this thing looks really, really clean. There's like zero corrosion on this entire motor right now. Guys, this motor is so clean. Like, there's zero rust on this thing right now. It's insane. Like, zero corrosion on any of the block. This right here is from an automatic Z, but this is just peak. Like, brand new motor over here. Harnesses that can be swapped. Some of the connections are different. It's a Japan harness, so gonna probably swap a USDM harness on there. But right now it looks really good. So I'm gonna get this thing loaded onto the truck, get this thing to the garage, and get this thing loaded up. All right, motor's back in the garage. Woohoo! Looks so good. So did a lot of stuff today. So we're gonna close out the video. Next video, you'll see us tear this apart because I noticed there are some things wrong with it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.